If we turn our backs and spit in his face, is God still gonna bless the USA?
In early September 2025, President Trump signed an executive order directing that the Department of Defense may again be known by its historic name, the Department of War. He declared that the name Department of Defense had signaled passivity, while Department of War more aptly conveys strength, readiness, and a posture of victory. This shift in nomenclature raises deep questions. It is not only about military posture, but also about the posture of the Christian church and our republic. Greetings, Patriots. I'm Perry Green. Welcome to God in America, where faith and freedom march together. As we approach Armed Forces Day, I thought about the significance of reestablishing the original Department of War and its implications. From 1789 until 1947, America's principal military department operated under the title War Department. After World War II, Congress reorganized the armed services and renamed them the Department of Defense, focusing on deterrence and a defensive stance. Jesus gave a startling promise in the Gospel of Matthew, and I also say to you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it. Notice the verb build. The church is not just defending territory, it's advancing. The gates of Hades are defensive symbols. Gates were used as a picture of security to protect against attack. Christ promised his church would stand firm and advance God's kingdom by destroying his adversaries' strongholds, not simply hunkering down behind defensive lines during their assaults. When Christians confine faith to the holy hours or church property, we risk living defensively rather than offensively, becoming reactive rather than proactive. The church doesn't merely survive oppression, it overcomes it with the authority of the risen Christ and goes forward. As disciples of Christ, we're called not only to defend truth, but to advance it. Ephesians 6, verses 10 and 11 instruct, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." We don't just stand, we advance in truth, love, and power. Patriots, here are 3 applications for our time. The first is about state and soul. Just as our nation reexamines titles and posture, churches must ask, are we passive? Are we only protecting what we have? Or are we advancing truth, mercy, and righteousness into the darkness? The second includes identity and action. When a nation calls its military the Defense Department, it may signal passivity. When the church is silent or private, it may signal fear. The name matters, but more importantly, our behavior must match our identity. And third, incorporates responsibility and resolve. The Department of War's message is, we will wage war against our enemies. The Christian message is similar. We will wage war against sin, oppression, and the darkness of our enemy. Yet our weapons are spiritual. We fight with truth, love, and the gospel, but we fight. We don't fearfully cower in our sanctuaries. Names and titles don't save. A Department of War cannot ensure victory. Calling a group of people a church does not guarantee their spiritual effectiveness. We must be who we claim to be, Christ witnessing community of believers. Jesus warned in Luke 14, verses 31 and 32, that any king who goes to war must count the cost. Patriots, the renaming of our military institution reminds us that words and posture matter. As God's church in America, we must be on offense, unashamedly proclaiming truth, serving the weak, defending the innocent, and advancing righteousness. Hebrews 12, verse 28 says, "Therefore, since we are receiving a kingdom which cannot be shaken, let us have grace by which we may serve God acceptably with reverence and godly fear." Our King has already won the war and commissions us to carry his victory into the world. Well, thank you for being with us today on God in America. Until next time, Patriots, let's keep the light of offensive faith and freedom burning.